tax base, so it doesn't make any sense to have a split rate, so we always recommend a residential factor of 1 so that all classes are taxed at the same rate.
So does everybody understand that our residential and commercial is taxed at the same rate? Could you tell us what our tax rate's going to be?
No.
No. Okay.
I know what it is, but I'm not saying it.
Okay. All right.
It's not been certified yet, because it can't be certified till after.
Till after this. Okay. So no comments? So Mr. Gordon, I'd entertain a motion. And the motion is...
Sorry.
That's okay.
Madam Chairman, I move to adopt a commercial residential factor of 1.0 as recommended by the Board of Assessors.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, that's what it said 1.0. So. No, I'll reread it.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's fine.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Jody, did you catch that? That's
No, that's fine.
all right, I apologize. I don't want to... Okay.
And Gordon, I'd like to close the public hearing at 6:06. That's a record.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Item 2.2, discussion with Brian Keane of Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission, MRPC, to gather public input on a grant application for funding under the Federal Community Development Block Grant CDBG program. Votes may be taken. This is another public hearing, folks. We have to circulate another sign-in sheet. And at this time, Gordon, would you mind reading the legal notice into the record?
Sure. Community Development Block...
Okay.
Thank you. Block grant application. The Townsend Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, December 8th, 2015 at 6:15 p.m. at the office of the Board of Selectmen, 272 Main Street, Townsend, Mass. 01469. To discuss the town's proposed application to the FY16 Massachusetts Small Cities Community Block Grant CDBG program. Applications can be up to $1 million for eligible activities as follows: housing, rehabilitation, infrastructure improvements, public facilities, public services, and planning services. A target area within the town will be identified for the application process. Interested persons and organizations are encouraged to attend and have the opportunity to comment and be heard on the proposed application. Reasonable accommodations will be attempted upon written request to the Selectmen's office prior to the meeting. The meeting room is handicap accessible by the Townsend Board of Selectmen. November 27, 2015, week 1. December 4th, 2015, week 2. Do I have to read the ad too?
No, that is the...
All right, thanks. I'm under the weather here. I apologize.
So I also asked our land use and our Board of Health to be here to discuss this. You want to take it from here, Brian?
Sure. I have some text here for people to...
Thank you.
Are we taping now, Martin?
We am now. I missed the first few minutes.
That's okay.
I didn't have the tape. I didn't have the camera tape rolling when...
That's fine. I just
Thank you, Harley.
I saw her pointing at it. So.
Thank you for your efforts.
I seem to be short a few copies. I can make some copies perhaps after the presentation for folks who would like some. Okay. How do you normally do the facing to the board?
However you'd like, Brian.
Okay, sure. All right, well, for folks who aren't familiar, Community Development Block Grant is a federal program from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, a grant that comes through the states. There are entitlement communities, or communities that are over 50,000 in population. Mini entitlements that go to population.
If you could just stay in one place.
Sure. Many entitlements for populations of over 35,000 folks, and then the state allocates the remaining funds to what we call CDF1 and CDF2 communities. This year, Townsend is a CDF2 community as such, and it has a community-wide need score of 22. As such, a good strategy would be to team up with another community that has a slightly higher score. It would be a CDF1 community. That way, the strategy is to be more competitive in the grant submission. So we are suggesting that Townsend team up with Shirley to submit a grant application for CDBG. CDBG is used primarily to benefit persons of low and moderate income and some eligible activities are housing rehab. We like to bring the houses of homeowners whose houses may be in violation of certain mass state sanitary codes. So you're looking at roofs, you're looking at heating systems, you're looking at weatherization, it could be septic systems, anything where the health and safety of the homeowner or the neighborhood is at risk. They also suggesting to do a public service program, such as perhaps fuel assistance. Okay, this year we are implementing a fuel assistance program in the towns of Shirley and Lancaster. Again, looking at targeting those folks who are not eligible for LIHEAP, but also those who are eligible for LIHEAP to stretch that benefit for longer duration. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't introduce my colleague, John Hume, who's also here with MRPC. John Hume has been with MRPC for quite a few years. I'm new. Okay. In our handout here, as most of you have, and some of you do not have, the CDBG program, going down to the fourth bullet. Let me start at the top with this. We have received an indication from the town that the town is interested in applying for a grant this year. CDBG application is due this year on Friday, February 12th. So there are a lot of milestones and tasks we need to complete before that time. Just a public hearing being one of those. And it could have a vote at the end of the meeting, and we could enter those into a minute. And that would be make our application that much more competitive. Let's see. The Community Development Block Grant, as I said, is a federally funded competitive grant program designed to help small cities and towns meet the broad range of community development needs. It's a very competitive application, and regional applications. Again, as I mentioned, we team up with the town of Shirley. Okay, this would help make it. It's a regional application, make the town more competitive. Jointly, the town of Townsend and Shirley could apply for up to a total of $1 million. Shirley is funded this year. Okay, as a CDF1 community, they are eligible to apply again. If awarded as a CDF2 community, Townsend would be eligible for 35% of the grant award. Any questions at this point? As I mentioned earlier, Shirley has a relatively high community-wide need score and is considered to be a community development 1 community. Townsend score is not as high and is considered to be CDF2. So Shirley would be the lead community in this application and would assume grant administration responsibilities. MRPC would be a contracted grant administrator for the town. If awarded, Townsend would be, as I just mentioned, would be entitled to spend up to 35% of total grant funds. Okay, I think I've covered just about everything here. We are working on a community development strategy. that is something we need to have submitted within 30 days before the grant application. So we are working with staff here in Townsend to complete that document and have that submitted in time. We do like to discuss this community development strategy. At this point is the housing rehab. Does it sound like a program that is acceptable and advisable for the town to undertake at this time?
One thing that I'd like to add too, that's a great overview, to put together the most competitive application, it would most likely be in your interest to go with housing rehabilitation and home heating fuel assistance program, just because it's late in the ball game right now. Generally, communities start preparing applications in the summer or even the spring if you go after an infrastructure project, because you have to do income surveys and a lot of prep work. Design plans have to be in place. But if you did submit for an application for housing rehabilitation, that would be able to provide a lot of benefits to a lot of households in town that are low and moderate income, including the elderly who are on a fixed income, and you could really help a lot of people out by going up to that program too. Same with the fuel assistance program. A lot of people are on fixed income. It gets cold, very cold out here in the winter, obviously. So that could be a big help for a lot of individuals and families, in addition to the housing rehabilitation program. So you could apply for those two programs, and you could team up with the town of Shirley, who is also interested in doing these two programs. And if you were interested in other projects in the future, we could start plotting those out as soon as these applications are completed. But that's our suggestion.
Anybody, Karen, do you have anything to add?
No, I've been talking with them on the phone.
So have you guys discussed a target area at all? Does it have to be a targeted area?
Yes, it should be a targeted area. Any geographically definable area where the population, the low to moderate income population, is at least 51% of that targeted area. So it could be a block group, a neighborhood, a group of two contiguous block groups of some such. But we do need to find that targeted area. I think I was speaking to Karen earlier, and it was suggested that. You told me the name, I forgot the name.
Kimberly Park.
Kimberly Park, yes, I wrote that down.
Timberley, with a T.
Oh, Timberley. Timberley Park.
Jim Before Board of Health Chairman. We have several situations in town, and also we have septic systems that are in failure. They've been in failure for a while, and the people that own the properties don't have the funds to repair those systems. So that would be a big asset to assist the people with that. And in the same ticket, that would also raise the property value of the houses with new systems there. So it would be a win-win situation for those people in good financial.
Septic systems are an eligible project.
I saw that in here. Like I said, we've got several in town that have been sitting stagnant and no way to address them because there were no funds available to assist the people.
Just a little bit on the timeline on that. If successful, the grants are awarded typically, we're looking at around July. Projects would happen. Work or construction would be approximately January, February, spring 2017. So we're talking another year out at least before actual work begins. Once the grant is awarded, we will start administering, and we will have a process where people can start providing, submitting applications for these projects, and we can start verifying household income. But yes, we would definitely want to encourage folks who have septic failure to apply for the program. as part of, just following up on that, as part of the application, we would be soliciting program pre-applications. Okay, that would indicate two application requirements. One, community involvement in the application process, but also indicating a need and demand for the program. So if we could, one strategy would be to see if we can locate those folks, okay, and get a pre-application to them. But we would want to nail these pre-applications out, at least to a target, to as many folks in that targeted area as at all possible. So I think I've been talking to someone in the town and staff about getting addresses in this targeted area. So that would be a lot of work we would need to do. So I think maybe we'll speak later on if we know where those failed septics are, if they concentrate in an area, perhaps we could, hopefully they would be
where they are, their addresses and all that stuff.
sure, yeah, and then if they're in the targeted area.
Right, we targeted Kimberly Park.
Right, okay, so that's beautiful. There we go. So there is a program synergy right there.
Any questions from the audience?
Who exactly is in charge of submitting the application?
Well, officially, I think it would be the Board of Selectmen that actually officially
Yes.
submits it. However, MRPC does.
We do the work. We do a lot of the legwork, but the town would be approving of the application. We work closely with the town and as we develop and create the application package and moving forward. And again, if awarded, we would work closely with the town to administer the program. But it would be, this grant, if successful, we'd be working more closely with the town of Shirley as the grant lead. But we would be working with the officials here in Townsend to, again, identify areas, help outreach to the applicants and our customers. But that's our full-time job, would be to administer the grant in both towns.
And who do you contract the work out to?
We would solicit, well, the process happens is I am the community development manager, so the administrative portion. We would have a housing, if we go with a housing rehab program, we would have a housing rehab specialist. That person is a formal contractor, a lot of inspection experience, contracting experience, and we would probably go first to local contractors, and we have a list of most contractors in the area, and it would be a bid process. Everything is procurement, state procurement code. So so all contractors would be procured and with sealed bids.
We were successful for many years receiving these grants, and it was able to help a lot of the community. However, it's become very competitive, and that there wasn't as many funds. Is that kind of turned around, or?
No, it's about the same.
It's about the same.
But I think with the regional process, and again we have a lot of expertise on board at MRPC, a lot of experience writing successful grants. John is a principal application writer, grant writer, so we feel good going in.
The teaming up with Shirley too, they have like a high needs indicator score. That'd give you a couple extra points in itself.
They're at a 30, which is very high. So that grant, if the application has strength in the other areas, that community-wide needs score would put it at the top of the list.
Yeah, I remember we went with Lunenburg, I think, and Lancaster, or maybe it was Ashburnham and Lunenburg, and we had a much better success. So I think joining with the other communities helps us a lot.
I think going in alone is not the best, especially as a CDF2 community. They probably wouldn't be considered at that point. They really get below 25 or 24. They start at the top and go in terms of reading the applications.
Well, speaking speaking personally on how my colleagues feel, but I support moving forward with the grant application. I don't know if you need some type of vote or...
Yes, we would like to have a vote, if we could put that into the minutes, and then we can, get our minutes, and that would be part of the grant application.
Could you instruct us what kind of motion we need so it's clean for you?
I don't think it's just as long as it was a vote of the board.
Vote to support the grant application.
Well, you could vote in support of submitting a community development block grant application.
Just like on the top of the form here. You read that?
Correct. Yeah, with the town of Shirley for housing rehab and fuel assistance.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion.
Sorry.
Just writing it down so I don't forget any other words. Okay. I make a motion that we submit an application for fiscal year 16 community development block grant application for housing rehab and fuel assistance in conjunction with the town of Shirley.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
So I close the public hearing at 6:27.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much for all your help.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Board of Selectmen, for improvements. We have another meeting when we return.
Well, you're up next, Jim.
Again, we're up right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we do the tax classification?
Yes.
I didn't realize.
And I'm deleting a lot off
Appreciate it.
Don't want to walk away with it, get up on the wrong foot.
Do the signage.
I have it there.
Billy's shook.
Oh, it's just that. Yes.
Thank you.
I took off
Jim, do you need Carl?
So, agenda item 2.3, meeting with the board.
Carolyn?
Yes.
I've had a whole lot of calls for running up here because it's not televised.
Yeah, he had some difficulties, so he...
Could you explain to all of us where Andy is?
No, I cannot.
You cannot.
No,
Or will not.
no comment on that. Agenda item 2.3, 6:45, meeting with the Board of Health to discuss the following. Withdrawal from North Central Regional Solid Waste Cooperative. Vote to accept a Sustainable Materials Recovery Grant from the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection for recycling of residential mattresses. So, Mr. LeQuire, we have a note in here from Mr. Sheehan stating that at the Board of Health meeting November 9th, the board voted 2-1 to opt out of Mass Toss, and that this needs to be put on for the select board to approve before January 1st. Is that?
Yes.
Okay, so I did receive a note from Karen Clement, and she wanted me to read it into the record, and it's regarding that decision. And she asked me to share it. It says, I'm unable to attend the Selectmen's meeting tonight, but I would have been in favor in speaking of the town of Townsend to continue be affiliated with Mass Toss events. I have seen it as a valuable asset available to our town by being a part of it. Our Board of Health wants to withdraw from the program. I would think that the board would be in favor of any recycling program that would reduce our waste and dispose of items in an appropriate way. It doesn't make sense to me that a Board of Health is against the program. So I didn't know if you wanted to talk about why you decided to opt out of Mass Toss, and I want to give that to you so you have that.
Okay. We've gone back and forth on Mass Toss since the town took on Mass Toss, and at the time I was the chairman, and I recommended to the town meeting that we did not go there. We have our own recycling facility right over there in West Townsend. We take mattresses, we take plastics, electronics, styrofoam, lawnmowers, steel, all the trees, everything. We are essentially self-contained. We have 2 weekly recycling now with Shaw's. So we have our weekly recycling all set up town-wide so that every week you throw it and it's 12 foot in the same barrel. There's no separating it, no anything. We don't need to be involved with mass toss because we're basically self-sufficient. If we get into a position where there's some stuff, now when we withdraw from this, I got a question. Does that mean that we can't even go down to dispose of the stuff at the transfer station at Evans? Excuse me, at Evans?
Well, the hazardous waste is a completely separate
That's
organization.
separate from that. Okay, so we're still able to down there with anything that might be a hazardous waste. But as far as what goes on, anything in this town, mattresses, the whole bit, can go right to the recycling center. We accept all of that stuff. And there's no reason, we don't need assistance in trash contracts any longer because we ended up doing the trash contract ourselves and we come up with what we needed with the reduced rate that we got at the town meeting where we were cut from the budget we were allocated down to 619 and negotiate with Shaw's to still give us the recycling. And I think that's a big yes for the Board of Health. So,
Well, the Board of Selectmen doesn't have any authorization to supersede the Board of Health's decision, and it's a budget that you control. However, I have heard a lot from the community that they were concerned. Did you have a public hearing and discuss? You did? Okay, so anybody that has any concerns about the mass toss, directing to the Board of Health.
So, Carolyn, would someone be able to talk on what other services Mass Toss provided to us or provides to us?
I did receive a
Because I think that was probably what Karen was getting at when she...
Yeah, and I did have an email from Irene Condon, and I don't, did any of my select board bring it?
Do what?
She had a printout of the different services that Mass Toss had provided
sorry.
for us. Did she?
Our packet?
I didn't see it in our
I didn't see it in mine, sorry.
Jim, do you want to talk about the different services that Mass Toss had previously provided to
I
us?
cannot talk about those different services because of the fact that I'm not 100% in tune with them. I just know that we are self-sufficient here in town with what we're doing on our own. Other towns they don't have recycling zones. And we allow other towns to come in and pay a fee to us annually and get a sticker or whatever to be able to dump their stuff at our recycling center. So this is open to all the other surrounding towns to come in also. I mean, it's a convenience. It's a win-all for everybody that surrounds us that wants to drive to our recycling center. And we're trying to keep it open every other Saturday, and we're also trying to keep it open on 3-day weekends for the convenience of taxpayers.
The other issue, Sue, and I'll get right to you, I guess the other issue is that there was an increase in their fee and there's not enough budgeted. Is that... That's what Carla had explained to me, so I wasn't...
We are surviving, but we did have to increase a few items because of the cost that we have to pay to get rid of those materials.
I mean, the appropriated amount for Mass Toss, we didn't appropriate enough. It went up, is what Carla had explained. Is that accurate?
There was an issue there, too, and if Carla were here, she could help there because she knows more of that than I myself personally do.
Okay.
So I can't assist in that part of it, and unfortunately, Carla had to step out.
But I do know, in relation back to your question, Sue, I know that they helped in the past with contract negotiations for our trash, for different grants that might be available. They did help you make applications for different grants, is that correct?
Yes.
And Carolyn, I might not be accurate on this, but the way that I remembered it, I thought they also helped with distributing information about recycling and promoting recycling and doing some work with... wasn't the recycling committee actually...
I believe you're correct. I believe that Mass Toss worked with the recycling.
That's what I thought. And the last I knew, and I've lost touch with what they were doing, but the last I knew they were doing some work with the schools or talking about doing work with the schools as well. So I think from an educational perspective, I don't want us to lose sight of those other services that Mass Toss provided to us.
I agree.
It's not just recycling.
Yeah, no, I agree.
if we needed to go into a situation where we had to hire somebody back part-time or go to some other state agency to find out what the current items may be or any changes there, we can do that also. Because it's a statewide situation where everybody's going to be involved in some fashion. So you get on the computer, you look up the problem you got, what you got to have answers to, and you can generate all that right out of our office.
Yeah, so anybody that has any further questions about the Board of Health opting out, please direct them to me. Anybody else have any questions?
When is the decision being made?
They said what Carla had sent us in an email, it said that the Board of Health opted on November 9th to 2-to-1 to opt out of mass toss, and it should be put on the Board of Selectmen for discussion.
Okay, so that's as of the end of the fiscal year?
I believe it is at the end of the fiscal year, but they have to opt out by January, so you know what I mean, but we're in contract with them until the end of the fiscal year.
I was just wondering, does mass toss take hazardous waste?
No.
Like paints and that kind of stuff? No. Do you take it up there?
Yeah, we'd still go to Devon.
Yeah,
That would go to Devon.
we still belong to the hazardous waste collection. That's totally a separate situation. I believe that's budgeted under the fire department, if I remember correctly.
That is under the fire department, not the Board of Health. So they took that away from us years ago.
Yeah.
I got another question. You said that up there is open to other towns to bring their
That's
recycling.
exactly right. They pay a fee to join us for a year. I believe it's only $10, and they have to show the fact that they're from another town. They've got to identify themselves, and they pay a different rate than the town the residents pay.
So does their fees that they're paying cover for the disposal of the materials that they're...
That's what we're attempting to do, yes.
But as of right now, they're not.
Right. So, but I said that wrong, I'm sorry, I didn't think first. We're in the process of determining how many other towns are going to be using our recycling center, and that's going to assist us in what we're going to have to charge for fees for people coming in from out of town.
But as of right now, what other towns are bringing into towns and that then need to be disposed of, what those people are paying now...
We'll be breaking even. We're not going to be making a profit on that. We'll be breaking even, but we're working on improving that system. This is new. This is just beginning. So it's not like we've had it in effect for a long time. But we're doing up there. We're stabilized. We're making ends meet, and it's working. People are using it. You get people from faithfully, and people that wanted it every other week have it, and especially on 3-day weekends where people wanted to bring cleanup, fall cleanup, etc. So we're assisting the taxpayers and citizens of town doing the best we can.
So please, if you have any other comments regarding it, please attend the Board of Health meeting and they can talk to you further. The second thing that Jim is here about is to accept the Sustainable Materials Recovery Program grant from the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection for recycling of residential mattresses. Did everybody have a chance to review that grant?
No questions.
I would entertain a motion to accept.
I move that we accept the Sustainable Material Recoveries Program municipal grant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, Mr.
We're all set?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I've got to go through the rest of the other meeting now. Thank you very much.
3.1, discuss the selection or appointment of a treasurer-collector or interim treasurer-collector. Votes may be taken. So my colleagues are aware, I'm not sure if you've seen this because we just got it today, Deb actually submitted a request for us to extend her resignation date till 12/12/2015, and the town clerk has accepted it, so I know you're still working with the screening committee, so I think that'll help everybody out. Is that...
Yeah, I've heard about that, but I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it just happened today, so...
I think it's because there's a few things that she still wants to continue to work on.
Okay.
She's the best. It's better to have her, if she's willing to work, and we take care of the legalities.
12/12? That's 3 days from now?
To Saturday. Just this week.
Oh, I'm just trying to get a mental
Yeah,
picture.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I haven't
Saturday.
seen it, so I'm just
Oh,
trying to...
yeah, yeah.
So we're just asking for 3-day extension, is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah. Her original resignation date, I believe, don't quote me on this, was November 24th. And
Okay.
so there's, you know, a
I'm sorry, I
legal
hadn't
issue
seen it,
because of the
so-
appointment process. So this is, just cleans that up.
Okay.
So I would entertain a motion to accept the resignation as submitted, and I can give it
I move
to...
that we accept the new resignation with the date of December 12th for Deb Christoph.
I'm going to second, but I just want to make sure, and that's all set with legal counsel? Okay. Second, thank you. I'm sorry I haven't seen it.
All those in favor?
Aye. Thank
I want to
you.
give that to
Jody.
Jody.
You want to also discuss the...
Sure. How are you doing in the process?
We want to continue to accept applications.
Okay.
But we are also looking at, because we need to get somebody in there, a couple of options on hiring an agency to come in.
Okay.
And we've got, is this the original packet? I know that Andy got a bid today, I believe.
Okay.
On one of the companies, and there's another company that we need to look at, that if the board wanted to look at hiring an agency to fill temporarily until such time that we can...
I did talk to the accountant and the assistant tax collector and treasurer would be taking over any duties in the interim, and that's, you know, she's
Folks,
charged with that.
I can't hear what they're saying, please. Thank you.
So that should work out fine. Until you figure out what you want to do on the screening committee. Okay.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions?
The only thing I would ask is, so that when we make the decision, could you forward the resumes as they come in so I can just sort of have a grasp and follow you when you're ready to select someone at some point?
Yeah, we just don't have one. I mean, we have a handful.
Right,
but we want to continue to accept more.
Right, but as you get them, could you just put them in, well, I don't know if you want to count, but put them in my mail so I can just keep up with you. So when you know what I'm saying? So when you come in, you're talking about someone, I can try to follow
But
intelligently.
the recommendation of the committee is to hire...
An agency.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And I know you guys are working really hard with the accountants. So.
Because we have the accountant, the point is that the staff and the accountant, it's too much for them.
Yeah.
The accountant can't take over the treasurer's job.
No.
And the staff is not able to do what Deb has been doing.
Okay.
And in order to continue, we do want to...
Thanks. That's all. I'm just trying to educate information if I can...
Right, but we want to, what I'm trying to say is we want to hire an agency in order to do that.
So whatever information comes in, if you just put it there so I can walk in and I can follow what you...
Okay, we've got a couple of bids.
Thank you. All right, that's cool. So whatever you can put into my mail, I would appreciate that you have.
Okay, so we probably want to put it on the agenda soon in order to make a motion to hire one of them.
Well, do you want to let us...
I mean, Andy's not here, so I don't know what the status of the two bids are.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But
So we'll put an update on for the next agenda.
Like Thursday?
Yeah.
Thursday's agenda?
That's already posted, but we can put an update for next Tuesday.
Yeah, because that's going to have to happen soon.
Yeah.
Really soon.
Definitely Tuesday then, if that's the soonest we can get an actual vote to hire. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, Vicki, for your work on that. Okay. So 3.3, discuss recommendation to increase hours and rate of the executive assistant to the town administrator. Andy had given us some additional. Yeah.
Yes? Oh, okay.
So, with the transition in this office, Andy has suggested that Jody be increased to 35 hours a week and that there's actual funding within the budget to do that. We wouldn't need additional funding. From what I understand, there's a little bit of extra money in there. And he had also suggested that we give her a raise from step 2 to step 4. So I'll turn to my colleagues for your...
I would be inclined to see what the interim town administrator, when he comes in, his thoughts about what his needs are at that time. Madam Chairman, if we could just ask the people here that I don't need faces made as or sounds when we're trying to talk up here, please. Just have proper decorum, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
No stress.
Thank you.
Stress. Cindy?
I talked to Andy briefly about this when it first came up the other night, but I'm definitely in favor of increasing her hours. I mean, I would want more discussion about giving a step increase without a particularly change in job. Even though I know that she's doing a lot more work. She's doing great work so far.
Jody's an asset. Yeah.
And with all the extra meetings we've had, and with all the extra work and trying to get a new town administrator, all the treasurer, all these things that Jody needs to do the paperwork on. I know that she's working very hard, but I definitely am in favor of even now increasing her hours, because with us meeting at least twice a week, it seems. I was hoping when I got elected that we were going to try to reduce the number of meetings we were going to have.
Me too.
But they seem to have doubled as opposed to reduced. But what we're getting, when we have extra meetings, Jody's hired to do administrative work with the understanding of I think the average would be her hours were probably determined to be one meeting every other week. And doubling that, we're actually losing her ability to do what her job is by having extra meetings, because she's sitting here taking minutes and not doing the day-to-day administrative functions, and she has to take those hours off. So I'm in favor, if we can continue discussion and make a motion to give her the 35 hours that Andy suggested at a minimum. I don't know about the step increase, but at least give her the extra hours to cover the work that she's doing.
Could I? I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
And I hear what you're saying, and Jody does great work. Would a fair compromise be to increase the hours to, say, like January 1st, and then just do evaluation at that point, or to help us get through the time, and then at least to involve the interim at that point? I'd be open to doing that right now tonight, and then give us time to think about it. I'm just throwing that out there.
So, folks, just a little history on that position is that it was always funded between 35 and 40 hours a week, and I was always amazed that it was cut back. It's a tremendous amount of work, and you're absolutely right. She's had to attend extra meetings. Hopefully that will calm down soon, because I think we're all tired here. But to be honest with you, Gordon, I would absolutely, if the money's in the budget, it's not a budgetary constraint, I would absolutely support the 35 hours. I think it's very much needed. We could always, to alleviate your concern, is review it in a couple of months. Maybe Jody's not going to want to stay at the 35 hours a week, but I think...
Absolutely, I'm good. I'm just having a conversation with the two of you. Trying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm doing here.
And if there's... And I'm not
totally
aware...
impressed by Jody. It's nothing to do with that. It's just... Okay.
And I'm not sure exactly, there's even maybe a little bit more than 35 hours a week available, because he does suggest the raise. But as far as giving step increases, that's a longevity situation, so that's what we get usually, if the employees would get if every year that they're here. So I wouldn't feel comfortable about the step raise, but I would absolutely support 35 hours a week, and if she needed a few extra hours over and above that to get us through till everybody's settled.
I'm good if you guys are ready for motion.
Yeah, I'd like to just add one thing. When I was thinking about it, when I first heard it, I thought that he was asking for 40 until I looked at the paper, and I was even happy at the 40. But where he asked for the 35, I'd like to stick with that. As far as the timeline, I was thinking of if I could make the motion to go all the way to June 30th for 35 hours.
Sure, we can review it then.
Because even with an interim administrator, the junior will have to train the senior, so she's going to have...
That makes sense, because that's also the end of the budget cycle.
So many things.
So we can make an intelligent, maybe we could go to 40, or maybe, so it gives us leeway.
But give it to June 30th, we can review it as we do the budget cycle, and as well as looking at any step increases as part of the regular assessment of our personnel throughout the town.
I think that makes sense.
Absolutely. And just so folks are aware too, I mean, we're talking many years ago, but there was a 20-hour HR person and there was a clerk in there as well. So all of that work got incorporated into that position. So, you know, I absolutely do support that. So I would entertain a motion.
Does Jody want this?
Oh, does Jody want this?
Before we, just because Andy suggested it.
Yeah, no one did ask her, did they?
No, Andy did.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Good.
I make a motion that we increase Jody's hours to 35.
Till June 30th.
Until June 30th.
No, that's okay with you. I'm not trying to tell you.
Yep, I just need to add.
2016, right?
2016. For
Gladly second.
The completion of this fiscal year.
Thank you for helping me. Gladly second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Jody.
Thank you, Jody. Oh, sorry, Leslie.
Just a little thing. We didn't know Andy was going to be here, and the town employees have a gift that we wanted to present to him tonight to thank him for all that he's done. So,
I understand you're having a party for him this week?
give it to him later. We're working on it.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so, let's see here. So that's done, 3.3 is done. 3.4 has been tabled. 3.5, vote to approve and sign annual license renewals. Votes may be taken. Traditionally, in the past, what we've done is vote to approve all the licenses by category and vote to sign them outside of a meeting instead of making folks sit here. So you have several different categories of licenses. So I would suggest that we make a motion to approve for the entertainment license contingent upon all necessary paperwork being filed with Jody. So you'll have your entertainment licenses, you'll have your class 1, 2, and 3 licenses, your common vicular, and your alcohol.
Do I just say entertainment, not
Yeah,
each one?
she's actually divided them up for you.
But do I need to name each one?
No, we don't have to. We did in the past, but
all right.
that's how they've been traditionally voting in. Is that
Just in, like you just said, in categories.
just in categories? So you'd want to approve the, first motion would be to approve the entertainment and Sunday entertainment licenses
And sign them out of session.
and to sign them out of session.
I make a motion that we sign the entertainment licenses contingent upon all the appropriate paperwork being submitted,
Second.
and we sign it out of session.
I'm sorry, we're in the middle of motion. Go ahead.
Do we need a second after each motion?
Yes.
Okay, second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Did somebody have something?
I just had a question.
I'm sorry, Jean.
I just had a question that the planning board hasn't had a chance to review these yet. It was my understanding that they needed to look at them and
Yes,
respond.
there should have been a referral on all of those.
We just got the referral.
Okay. All right. So it's contingent upon appropriate paperwork being filed with her, so she will definitely wait. And she's also probably waiting for some of the inspections by Rich Hanks, correct?
Right.
So we're approving them, and as long as all the appropriate paperwork's been filed with her, she'll release them. And if something comes back saying, hey, there's a problem, she'll bring it back to us and we'll rescind the vote.
Okay, they're meeting Monday night, so we just got it in between meetings, so I just wanted to make
Yeah,
you
she
aware
sent
that
out
they
the
haven't had a
referrals
chance
to the
respond
tax
yet.
office, correct?
Okay.
And yeah, so they will not be released until your feedback is received.
Okay, are we going to sign these?
Yes, and then we give them to her.
But even though...
We don't have to sign them tonight. We can wait for her to tell us they're all
So
set.
we're going to wait to sign, to actually sign. Okay, all right.
To Jody?
Yeah.
Okay, we got a couple of different... Make a motion that we approve the motor vehicle junk license Class 3 and contingent upon all the proper paperwork.
Sign out of session.
Sign out of session.
Second.
Sign out of
If you want, you can say approve all Class 1, 2, and 3, because they're all auto.
Okay, they're different. Motor vehicle, this is a junk license, then there's a dealer. I'll hurry.
They're all Class 1, 2, and 3 licenses.
All right, Class... All right, I make a motion... The only ones I got left is Class 1 and 2. I make a motion that we approve and sign out of session the Class 2 licenses.
Second.
Contingent upon all paperwork.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then we have, I make a motion that we approve this large stack of common victualler, I always say that wrong, licenses pending all the paperwork being submitted, and we sign out of session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Cindy.
These are, make a motion to approve a series of alcohol beverage licenses of different, you have club licenses, do them all
You
together?
can just do all FY16 alcohol licenses.
They're all alcohol, yeah, the alcohol licenses, pending all appropriate paperwork being submitted and signed out of session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cindy.
Poor Cindy gets stuck with emotions now. She's not happy with you.
I know, she shouldn't be. This is yours. Do you want me to give those to Jody, Cindy?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I was just kind of glancing through them.
Thank you, Cindy.
All right. 3.6, approve the 2016 holiday schedule. And basically, we approve this every year. It is the days that Town Hall and other offices will be closed, and it's based on the state legal holiday list. So, did you have a chance to review?
I did.
Okay. You want to make a motion?
Make a motion that we approve.
Madam Chairman?
Sure, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. Because I'm new with this, I want to question. Is there an exception for collective bargaining ones?
No, this is just saying what the legal holidays are.
All right,
It doesn't entitle anybody to them. This is just, you have to declare what they are.
I'm just trying to learn.
So that it'll be sent out to the different offices so they know, that Patriots Day will be on April 18th.
Thank you. I'm sorry to interrupt there.
Yeah, that's okay.
I make a motion that we accept the list of calendar year 2016 holidays, which are the same as in Massachusetts.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so let's see. We have review and sign Chapter 90 final report for reclaiming and repaving Pierce Road. Anybody have any questions on? It's just the final report. The work has already
Looks great.
been done so that they can submit for reimbursement.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can take mine. Yeah, it's just it does the final report so we can submit it for reimbursement, so we just approve the final report.
Okay, make a motion to approve the final Chapter 90 report.
For Pierce Road?
For Pierce Road. From Ash Street to Turner Road.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And there should be an original for us to sign in there with the police sign. Yep, there you go.
Are we all signing it or just you?
I think it's all three of us.
Excuse me.
There's a few of them. That's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's just the town accountant. Just the first two for the BOS. Okay, folks, we took a few things off the agenda because our colleague here wasn't feeling well, so we're down to 5.3, review and sign payroll and bills payable warrant. This came off or something?
I think Cindy needs to sign these.
Yeah.
So I'll entertain a motion to review and sign the bills payable warrant.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we review and sign payroll and bills payable out of session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Making the motion
I was just trying to help.
Seconding. Yep.
Nope, that's okay.
Confused me.
So folks, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that the Board of Selectmen's meeting adjourn at 6:58 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, folks.